Hi guys. It's a pleasure to be here. So as said, I'm Soha. This is Kasia, and we run a product called Unerdwear, and that's actually nothing else than underwear for nerd. And these are boxers. Yeah, these are boxers. Um, yep. So. Um, It's a hint. So this is not actually a proper success story yet, because we're launching our store, and this is the hint next week, with our first commercial collection, and yeah, we'll see how it works. So. We'll structure our presentations as you see here. We'll start with some inspirations we have from working at software companies. We'll show you the history of few jokes that led us here. Yeah, we'll tell a few words about production and lessons and some surprise in the end. That's going to be a first question. This is this type of question that we get when we start pitching what we are doing, and it might seem kind of like ridiculous, but we actually have a couple of good reasons to do that.
Actually doing underwear for nerds is the complete opposite of serious. And we love how free it feels and how much fun we can have thanks to that. Also, we both really enjoy this type of absurd and nerdy sense of humor, and we feel there should be more of that around us. We get the fabulous opportunity to work in this community, and to be honest, it's a community that has the most open-minded and creative and interesting people, so we're really grateful for that too. Design. So we are both designers, so it's pretty obvious that we love making things. We try to make them with great attention to detail as well, so we make sure that we can give you a product that's very high quality, that's for everyday use, and hopefully will make you smile and make you happy. So this whole process is a great big experiment. And we have been working in, what? I don't know. Is it? Oh, okay. So we have been working with software before, and we kind of feel like we're still in the business, because if you think about it, we deal with front end and back end.
And there are no wires in our boxers, so no wires, no radiation. They work perfectly even if Wi-Fi is down. Of course, you have to wash them. Yeah, you wear them, and we like to call what we are doing software coverage as a service, because we are actually still in the software industry. So how we started? As I said before, that was a series of jokes. So the very first joke was actually of Ella playing with characters in the word underwear, which ended up with Unerdwear. And she bought a domain that we didn't know what to do with. We kept on thinking of underwear and Unerdwear, and we came up with this joke, which you can read. So it actually, we thought, okay, it's another good joke, and we should keep on like doing that. So another joke was series of stats, geeky stats, that we actually we called it our first lunch, and we made it for April Fool's Day, and actually because it was a joke, and actually nobody knew if that's a joke or it's a product launch. We got the coverage on TechCrunch and on the Next Web. Yeah, I think we like our illustrations more. And then, so another joke was that we are part of the gang of Raspberry and MMConf organizers, so we designed that. And we thought we can include Unerdwear as a part of a conference swag. Yeah, and so we actually released a branded with Raspberry and MMConf design boxers of 600 pairs. And yeah, and we gave them away, and we weren't sure if people would actually like them and what will be the reaction of the crowd. And yeah, people actually appear to love them. There's another picture. Yeah, so, and after that, that was like, I guess, the last joke that we decided to make it full time. We got a great board of advisors and investors, which are Ella and Kasia. Ella and Agata. Yep. And we also got great support from Basia, who's one of the organizers of World Muses in Krakow, and she's our tech person. Yep. Your turn.
My turn. So production. Production was a pretty tricky part because we had no idea what we were doing. And as it appears in the textile industry in Poland, you have to know people that actually know people who know people in the industry. And they are very reluctant to share their contacts. They don't want to tell you anything at all that would make life easier. So this is another thing that we realized. You just can't Google it. So this industry is also very analog. So quickly we realized that sending out emails makes no sense and that you actually have to call them all. So pretty soon we got used to making like 15 or 20 phone calls each day to organize the whole production. And you might think that this is how it went, but pretty much most of the time at the beginning, this is how we felt. But luckily, Poland is a country, it's one of the few countries that you can produce things from scratch. So we managed to find all of the suppliers, all of the companies that make different stages of the production. And it turns out we actually need 10 different companies to produce the boxers. And I'm not counting in accounting or logistics or transport at all. This is just for the production of the boxers. And also, for example, the textile printing house that we found has the newest possible technology there is to make textile printing. So that's pretty cool too, because we're pretty much sure this is the best way to do this. So we have learned a few lessons. The first one was that you actually don't want to work with middlemen, that in order to control the quality of what you're doing and to make sure every detail is the way you want it to be, you have to do it like with bare hands. So this is what we actually did. Multiple times we did cutouts of sewing patterns, and over again we hand stitched them. We made our friends try them on. They didn't want us to show that here, so you have to believe us. We went to very strange places to find the perfect cotton. This is not the place where we found it, surprisingly. Picking out buttons, yeah, pretty much every single step of the way we did on our own.
Yep. So don't be afraid to ask questions. So we were afraid in the beginning that we don't know anything about how every single company out of the whole list works and what we have to really tell them to get the best quality. But actually it appears that you can ask questions and they're actually happy to teach you, like even how many, what's the density of cloth or fabric, or what are the processes of like when you are printing textiles. Yeah, this applies to working with experts too. So collect ideas. So for this first collection, we prepared around 100 designs that we would love to use all of them and print all of them, but actually it didn't make sense. So we thought, yeah, if we don't use one of these designs right now, we can always use it in future. So they will not be wasted. This is the cost of like doing something that you really want to make it perfect. So there are some products that, some ideas, some technology innovation that they are perfect from day zero, and even if they look crappy, they are still, the people can still use them and they are happy, but that doesn't apply to boxers and to physical products. They just have to be perfect first, and then you can go and market them. And yeah, double check. So we learned that even though if we agree on something and we think that already is all set up, you always have to double check and double check again. I mean, think of that when you are building something and you sometimes make mistakes and you have to go back and correct your own work. Now imagine how much of checking you have to get to work with 10 companies.
So what's next? Tomorrow we're actually going to Łódź, where everything is made, to pick up the textile and transport it to the sewing shop that we're working with. And yeah, next week hopefully we're opening the store. So we ended up with 12 final designs, and we did an online voting to select the favorite ones. And so these are the 5 ones that we picked for the first collection. Silence. So while we were doing that and finalizing that part, we actually had another great idea, which was to contact Rails girls and actually do some custom designing for them in order to produce a batch of like almost 200 boxers. So all of the money we will get from selling them we will be actually donating to the Summer of Code, Rails Girls Summer of Code. So we also did an online voting, and this is the winner that we're actually making now. And it will also be possible to buy it next week. And
okay. I mean, as I said, we don't have like a proper like success story nor the store open, but we already got one celebrate endorsement that actually you are going to see today, and we got featured in fashion blog by Krzysztof Kanciarz. Okay, so now this is time for some serious questions. Okay, so shall I start with the first?
Yeah, these are going to be very tough questions, and there are some prizes.
Okay, but make sure when you, as you answer the questions, that you are like in size, your size is M, or you have a friend who is in size M, so that you can give the prize. Yeah, we only have size M. So the first question is really tricky, and the question is, what do you think is the prize in this quiz? Oh, guys, come on.
Who said that?
So you got the prize.
So we have the first winner. There we go.
Okay, now comes the other key question is, how many characters, including spaces, are there in the tagline, software is eating the world?
This was the hardest one. Here we go.
I didn't finish to read.
Not yet.
Like next week, unfortunately. So that's the finish. So the last chance for today to get boxers. Which cat appeared in the presentation?
Who was that? Who was first?
I think A here was first.
Here we go.
Thanks. Oh, and you can always just find us here.
And I guess that's all, so thank you for listening.
Hey guys, so thank you girls, thanks Kasia, and thanks Soha. I should probably stop calling you girls collectively, but do you have any questions? So I'll actually have a question and one comment, because you said that, you know, first you need to know people who know people who know people in the software industry, and I know how it looked, and the few months had a lot of frustration in it, and actually not always asking questions is you would get the answers. So I remember the horror story when you went to one printing shop in Łódź, and you were like actually like mobbed like for an hour-long meeting. So it's not always like, hey, like, can you tell me what are your trade, production secrets? So do you want to comment on that? How do you approach those situations?
Well, I think it's just a matter of searching, and obviously you find lots of assholes on the way. It's I mean, yeah. So it's just a matter of searching, and when you don't feel right with working with somebody, and you don't feel that this person, and you don't think that this person brings value or really have things to share and really likes his work, then it doesn't make sense to work with this person. Do you have anything to add?
I guess that was one case on the whole process that we really did not have a pleasant meeting, but I think that most of the times we really found people that are great to work with, so that was this one time failure, but the rest went smoothly. But yeah, we actually got into a car and just went to Łódź and started looking around. That's how it started.
So you, okay.
I was wondering when you'll start production for women.
So we would love to start it right away, but actually the process is complicated as it is with just one pattern and one design. So we thought that the best strategy is to actually make the first perfect and then move on to the next step, which hopefully will be a proper fit for girls. But actually we heard some rumors about girlfriends stealing these boxers from boyfriends and actually sleeping in them. So actually I think girls can use them too. So.
And they do.
And they do.
Anyone here want to ask a question? Yeah, that's the question. Do nerds have girlfriends? Okay, they do. I mean, somebody asked that. I just repeated.
So I know you're going to States this week, right? Is it somehow connected to with launching the product and how the launch will look like?
Well, I think we are international, so we are on internet, and it's just a coincidence that we decided that we want to have this part of life just to stay in New York and seek for inspiration. And as always, we are open, and if we'll find some great inspirations, like another good joke to carry on, I think we will. But we don't, I think, have any special expectations. Just inspiration.
Okay, can you ask it loud? Okay.
How can one buy those?
So there was a hint in the beginning that we will have like a proper store next week, and it will be at unerdwear.com. Yeah, that will be only on our shop. So what we know from developing a software product is that once you build something, you want to have total control over any piece of the process. So we want to maintain this control by only selling that online for sure. Yeah, we want to sell it online. Yeah, just to be sure that nobody on the way will interrupt this flow, and it will be just perfect and nice. Oh, so there are 5 designs in this collection, plus Rails Girls, which is our great idea to support them.
Okay, I will ask one question just because I think it can be interesting for the people here from the business side of things, because I think obviously Unerdwear is interesting because it's Krakow made, it's a fun idea, it's different than what we usually hear at Hive. But one question, and I think something, if anybody here is thinking of like doing physical products and manufacture them, I think there was an interesting lesson that you girls had in terms of like retail versus, wholesale to bigger companies. And so maybe you could share some of your thoughts on making money on that long term.
Yeah, okay, so this is something that we might have to still confront in the future, but from planning the whole sales process, we kind of got the feeling that like detail sale is not a really good idea. Like wholesale makes much more sense financially. So it kind of feels like, well, you kind of get to understand why people manufacture things in China now when you like look financially at this idea. But I guess we bravely decided to give it a go and just see what happens. We do not want to produce things in China. We want to make them locally. We want them to be fairly paid for. So we'll also be trying to do some deals with companies like we did for Rails Girls, but like not to make some benefit out of it, not to do it like charity. But yeah, I guess that's it. We really want to sell to people like in detail, but hopefully we'll also get to have some nice collaborations with different companies. So that's the plan.
Okay, 2 more questions over there.
Maybe we should think about that.
Okay, so I hear that you guys are going to New York City, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so remember these 3 words, okay? Number 1, Williamsburg. Go to that neighborhood. Lots of wonderful inspirations waiting for you over there. It's like hipster central in New York City. I know it's a big thing right now in Poland, so go there. Okay, second thing, go to the store for it's called Brooklyn Industry. They like 10 years ago, they were where you are right now. So go to, there's a store on Bedford Avenue. It's a good store to go to, and you'll see plenty of clever ideas. And what I would suggest is take these ideas back to Poland and maybe put in a little Krakow type of spin on what you find over there.
Okay, that's great advice. So thank you. I'm sure we will.
Yeah, a couple of times.
I think that, yeah.
I wanted to touch on the previous question, and so you're doing online selling. How are you handling the shipping and the distribution? And I understand you're focused on Poland right now, but like when you hit internationally, how are you gonna distribute the products?
So yeah, actually we want to hit international from the first day. So I guess, so this is the thing that we are still in the process of figuring out. But from what we know now, I mean, the shipping, it's not a problem at all. The only problem is that you have to deal with all the taxes and yeah, all the taxes which apply when you sell to Europe or to European countries or not, if they have VAT tax or not, or if you ship to States. But yeah, there are also services to deal with that, and many services that they offer you shops that you can rent. They already have things to solve that. Well, we still think that, I mean, that this is just like a part of the bureaucracy work that we have to do on the way, but still the main problem is always the product. So yeah, this we are just going to solve. If you would like to, you can probably ask us more questions next week when we'll know everything, because we'll be already after the whole process.
Okay, one more question. I think that should be the last question, because
I'm a proud, happy owner of 2 pairs of your undies, and I love them to bits, and I sleep in them, and they're the best. And the thing is that I want to show them off to the world. I just want to walk outside in them. And okay. So. Okay. So one Polish brand comes to mind, Mr. Gugu and Ms. Go. They also produce these wonderful patterns on outerwear, actually. And I just love your patterns so much that I would really love to see them on a dress or on a sweatshirt. And my question is there any glimmer of hope that you would ever design any outerwear?
Yeah, so actually we had lots of ideas. We just really have to stop ourselves because, as Kasia said, we want to first do one thing well and to be able to say that this is perfect as we want it to be. So, I mean, as perfect. Yeah, so the part of our idea was that it's more for yourself than for showing to the world. So we thought actually Unerdwear it's cool because you can put it like below and you don't have to be so extravertic about that, and you can still feel that you are that's your style and this is the pattern that you want to wear, and it's not really necessary that all people see them, but actually there are some ways to wear Unerdwear that people see that. We'll have this section of like how to on our website in future, how to show off. Yeah. You want to add something?
Yeah, I wanted to add one thing that this company you mentioned. There is also a big trend in the textile industry now that they do digital printing, but it's actually on artificial materials. And that's what they do. And it's really easy to print on ready products. And what we do is a completely different technology because we actually have 100% pure cotton, which you cannot do that kind of process on. So it's a bit more complicated. And yeah, I guess that's what's worth mentioning, that it's really cotton and it's not an artificial and it's good material. So hopefully we'll make something that you can wear outside as well in the future.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I think there's.